Talmud Torah. So we are in Perakhei. Vilu halacha zayin. Maybe we're up to halacha zayin. I think we're up to halacha zayin. Perakhei halacha zayin. Hilchos Talmud Torah. Says the Rambam. V'chayev lamon mipnei rabo mishi yiredo me'rachok malo einav. When you see a Rebbe, even from far away, you have to stand up. Ashi is kasmi menu until he leaves. Below Yira Kamasa, you don't see him anymore. He's far away. Then one can sit down. And again, there is an idea of standing. There's an idea of what is accepted behavior. Right? Nowadays, if so Rebbe walks into the room, you don't stay standing. Nobody says standing until the Rebbe gets to his seat, and then everybody sits down. This is also the Gemara. You have to go see Rebbe on Yantif. That's a little tricky because Sukkot and Pesach are two Bein Hazmanim. So when are you supposed to see a Rebbe? In Shavuos, well, sometimes the Rebbe's in yeshiva, sometimes he can't be in yeshiva. So which regel are we talking about? In those days, maybe in those days, there was an idea of going to your Rebbe. But again, there's an idea of Yantif being a highlight in Torah. So also trying to go see your Rebbe that day also. Okay, one other halacha. Ein cholkin. Again, I want to get to some of the later ones. We'll see if we get there, but we'll see how far we get. Says the Rambam. Question? No. Ein cholkin kavod letalmud b'fnei harav. El imkin haya derech rav alachlo kol kavod. What if I'm going to give kavod to a Talmud of the Rebbe? What if there's the Rebbe in the room and then there's a Talmud, but the Talmud is also my Rebbe? What if a Talmud gives Chazar Shir? So he's like a Rebbe of mine too. So to show a lot of kavod to somebody else who is not your Rebbe in front of your Rebbe, that also is a little tricky because that might be a priest's kavod in the Rebbe. So one has to be careful about that. But again, it depends on context. Certain malachas that are the Gemara spoke about that an Eved does to a master, a Talmud could do to his Rebbe. Again, those really aren't done today, but it just basically means any type of shimush that can be done. But if people don't realize that you're a student, they might think you're an Eved, so then you got to be careful because a person has responsibility not to do things that make people think his yichus is suspect. So again, in the days of old, if you wore tefillin, you're good. But if you didn't have tefillin and you were doing avodos for a person, so they might think, oh, he's an Eved, but we don't want that. Again, bisman hazeh, we don't have a problem because we don't have the status of Eved today. I don't think we've touched on this year or last year, that we don't have the status. Let me just finish this halacha and then I'll tell you a cool thought. If a Rebbe does not let a student be mishamish him, that he's preventing him from chesed and removing Yirat Shamayim from him. Because again, being able to service a Rebbe is a great thing for the Talmud. And even if the Rebbe is not interested, but he has to at least let the Talmud do something because it's good for the Talmud. And therefore, he has to be a little flexible. And a Talmud can't be mezalzel in the kavod of his Rebbe. So a Rebbe has to let a Talmud be mechabed him, and a Talmud has to make sure that he is mechabed him properly. But again, some of these halachas of Eved does not apply in our day and age. Again, interesting. The status of Eved, every Eved Kanani, they cannot apply today. Where does this come up? There is a shita in Kiddushin. If you never saw it, it's an important shita just to be aware of. Kiddushin Samach Tes Manalef. It's not going to be a famous Gemara that we'll do. Not one of those popular famous Gemaras, but it is one that we could talk about in Shir. Rabbi Tarfon Shita. Rabbi Tarfon says this is the transition of Lamdis coming from the Rambam before we get to our sugya. Yechol and mamzer and litahir. Rabbi Tarfon says I have a way that a mamzer could have non-mamzer children, right? Which is a mystery because every mamzer or a mamzeres, their children are mamzerin. It's a big problem. It continues forever. It's a tragedy that continues forever. So how do you solve the problem? So Rabbi Tarfon says, I got a great idea. If a person becomes an Eved Ivri, a person steals or sells himself as an Eved Ivri, then he's allowed to marry a Shifcha Kananis, who is a woman who is half Jewish, half not Jewish. The kids won't be Jewish. They'll convert, and they won't be mamzerim. They'll just be gerim. Rabbi Tarfon has the solution of solving the mamzer problems. The mamzer should make himself again into an Eved Ivri, sell himself as an Eved Ivri, work for somebody, and then he'll marry a Shifcha Kananis, and then the kids will be Jewish, they'll convert, they won't be mamzer. Better to have a convert child than to have a mamzer child. Right? A convert child can marry anybody except a Kohen. Mamzer can't marry anybody. So that's what's quoted in that's what's in the Mishnah, that's quoted in Shulchan Aruch. So how about nowadays? Why doesn't anyone, have you ever heard of that being done today to solve a mamzer problem? Anybody becoming an Eved Ivri? So they quote that in the 1960s, I don't know, I don't remember, I wasn't around yet, that there was some Rabbanim that wanted to go to Africa to get some Avadim, to be able to, to have an Eved Ivri. And the quote from Rav Soloveitchik was, Lincoln freed the slaves. That was the Lashon. Lincoln freed the slaves. What did he mean by Lincoln freed the slaves? He meant that there's no status, there cannot be a status of Eved Ivri nowadays. As Dov just said, maybe there's no Yovel, but there can't be that status. And if there can't be that status, it doesn't matter what your kavan is. So that option of Rabbi Tarfon doesn't work nowadays. No matter how hard we would want it to work, there's no Eved today. So that relates to this Rambam, right? There's no Avdus today. There's no Eved today. So all the halachas of pretending people will be choshesh that a person's an Eved, it doesn't really apply. But again, that's the Rabbi Tarfon Shita, Kiddushin. And if you look, I think it's a Nefesh Harav, if Schechter quotes it. Lincoln freed the slaves. Pretty sure I could look it up afterwards. But that's the Lashon. Okay, Rabbosai, we are all here. Let's just see who's here. Again, those who came a little late. This is the last sugya that we're going to be doing, sugya number 15, that we're going to be doing today, and then we're going to have Chazara. Then we're going to have a week of review. Again, I'm going to try to give Chazara shiurim and just overviews. Not going through every sugya again, but please take the time seriously to be able to review. We've done a lot of meaty sugyas. But let me just see who's here. Levi is here. Ephraim is here. Avrami Davis, who's around? Yes, good. Yosef is here. We go. So we started a new sugya. Last one for this month. This is the last one for this month, guys. Let's do it. 15 sugya. Again, I'm going to try to send out, Eli, I'll email you my notes, and then you'll send it to the chat, whatever it is. So that could help you, everybody, review. I have never given so many shiurim in a Kayitzman. So it's all a tribute to Corona. But besides Corona, it's, we were able to spend more time on Yeish Nochlin than we thought. But again, we did, as you see, it's a lot of meaty sugyas. And I look forward to learning with you. Those who will be in the shiur next year. We'll see, B'ez Hashem, to learn Psachim. Psachim is next year's limud. Okay, here we go. So, Kuf Chav Ches Mabeis. Kuf Chav Ches Mabeis. Feels like we haven't learned in a while, but it was through Wednesday. Thursday was Shavas B'Tammuz. So the Gemara says, let's review it again. Kuf Chav Ches Mabeis. 1, 2, 8. Right in the middle of the Amud. Shalach Le Rabbi Abel Rabbi Yosef Rachama. Hamotzi Shtar Chov Al Chavero. Somebody who is Motzi Shtar Chov on their friend. Avrami, you with me? I need you here. Avrami and Avraham. And Eli and Eli. Eli's not here. And Eli and Eli. I don't know what other pairs we might have. And Yehuda, who might Yehuda go with? Yehuda and Ephraim are both Shvatim. Okay. Netanel and Zakai, because Natankel, everything Hashem gives us is a schus. Zakai, we're Zakai. And Natankel. Those two could go together. And Levi is just the heart of everything. So he doesn't even need a pair. He's just the Lev. And who else do we have? Just to keep everybody on their toes, to start off the week with the Milsa de B'dichusa. Shlomo Hamelech. He's the king for us. And I'm trying to work this one out. Okay, give me a minute. The king. There were bears on Shlomo's throne. So Shlomo and Dov, the bears that were ferocious on Shlomo's throne to make sure that everybody stayed intact. Okay, I think I got everybody. And now it's time to learn some Torah. Says this Torah is the Mached. An hour ago, I got a phone call. And I got a phone call 2 hours ago, but the father half an hour ago. There was somebody in London that was made a wedding 2 days ago. What's today? Sunday. Thursday, they made a wedding. There were only 20 people at the wedding because kachazeh, that's the only way it could be. But he's a guy who's been doing the daf yomi with me for two cycles. So his brother, the father of the Kala called me up 2 hours ago and said, we're having a small Sheva Brachas. Could you speak at the Sheva Brachas? I'm like, okay. So he called me back a half an hour ago. So I said it to our Torah at the Sheva Brachas, which the Chassid and the Kala, we've known them for so many years, but I'm sure they're wonderful. And that's the it was very nice. But Torah is ma'achid. I don't know, Ellie, do you know them? Wolowick, Danny Wolowick. I don't know. The Wolowicks made a wedding, and I don't know. He davens. I forgot where he davens. Anyway, here we go. If somebody's Moshe Shachal and their friend Reuben comes to Shimon and says, "You owe me money," and I have a star that says you owe me money, and Malva Omer lo nefranti klum, and the Malva says, "You owe me money. You didn't pay me back anything." The Lova or Parati Mechsa, and the Lova says, "I paid you back half." Malva says, "You didn't pay me anything." He says, "I paid you back half." So stop there. If this would be the entire case, what would we say? What would the halacha be? He has to pay everything. What do you mean you paid half? You don't have any raya that you paid half. There's a star against you. There's a star with Adam against you. So you have to pay. The guy says, I didn't pay anything. I paid half. This is not Modim and Mixas. Modim and Mixas has no raya against me. But what's Modim and Mixas? That I pay half and I swear that I'm punching from the other half. Modim and Mixas is only when there's no star against me. If there's a star against me, I have to pay. Period. But here, what happened? Adam. The Adam Eidin Shapar Koulo. Adam come and say he paid everything. He paid everything. The guy only says he paid half, but Adam say he paid everything. So, and the assumption is that he said I paid half before the Adam came. Right? Nobody probably would be silly enough to, after the Adam, wouldn't be saying I paid half. So he said I paid half first, and then Adam come. Areza Nishba. He, the Lovet, swears. The Gova Mechzam Yechazim B'nei Chorin. He swears, and half could be collected from Menachasim B'nei Chorin for properties that he has, Avo mi Mishubadim lo, but not from Mishubadim, not from properties that he had sold. To Amri Anana Edom Samchina. Because the buyers, the Lukuchos, say, no, well, we rely on the Edom. The Edom say it was already paid up, and therefore we're not paying anything. We're not paying anything. That is the halacha. And basically, if they're only allowed to collect from B'nei Chorin, so as we'll see in the Rishonim, but just to mention it now, it must be that this is no longer has the power of a milva b'shtar. Because if there's a milva b'shtar, then you could collect from even encumbered properties that he had sold already to Lekuchos. But here, because he can't, it doesn't seem to have the power of a milva b'shtar. Good, this is the case. He says he paid half. Adam says he paid the whole thing. He is believed with a shvua. So as we saw on Wednesday, we started, but let's just clarify a few things now. 4 different questions I had you look at, hopefully. 4 different questions in the Rishonim. And they each have a little different mentality. Most of the time, in most sugi answers, this sugi is fascinating because they all ask the question a little differently. Be very differently. 4 different formulations in the Rishonim, each of them reflecting something different about the sugya. Good. So we start off with Tosfos. Again, this is even before we see any of the answers of the Rishonim. Just even from the question, you see a mentality. Says the Tosfos. Nir Elari. Says Tosfos. Tilahachi ne'eman b'shvua. This is why the lova is ne'eman with a shvua. Hold on. It's going to be a while. I just started here. Hanani says hello to everybody. Okay. You can listen. So the Tosfos says, Lahachi ne'eman b'shvua. This is why he's believed with a shvua. So again, what's Tosfos bothered by saying that? Sounds like Tosfos assumes maybe he shouldn't be believed with a shvua. Right? Tosfos is about to say, this is why he's believed. But why wouldn't he be believed? Tosfos is assuming that he wouldn't be believed with a shvua. Well, basically, There's a star against him. There's a star against him. What minute there's a star against him? There are Adam against the star. So he has Adam supporting him. Tosfos a little bit later already says what his mentality is. Right? Look at for a line of Tosfos. The Afagav. Skip the second line of Tosfos for a second. But look at the third line. The Afagav Dilidvarav Ha'edim Psulim Shaharei Machisham the Omer Shechayev Nechza. Wow. According to his words, the Adam are liars. Even though the Adam are on his side. They're testifying to support him, but according to what he said, the Adam are not telling the truth, according to Tosfos. And therefore, it's Keilu, you knock out those Adam, and therefore he's stuck, and he's up against the star. If he's up against the star, that's Tosfos' mentality. Tosfos' mentality is, why would he even be believed with a shvua? So, taking a step back, when there's Hodah's Baldin against Adim, according to Tosfos' Havamina, what wins, basically? Hodah's Baldin K'mei Adim Dami and Adim. He says, I owe. Adim say, I don't owe. So according to Tosfos' mentality, what wins in his question? What would you say? What seems to win? Somebody got one of two chances, right? He says that the Tosfos is bothered that he's up against the star now. He shouldn't be believed, meaning his Hodah knocks out the Adim. His Hodah knocks out the Adim. His Hodah's Baldin knocks out the Adim that say that he paid already, and therefore he's left with being up against the star. That's what Tosfos says. Why is he believed, even with the Shvuah? He's up against a star, like we just said. When do you believe? When do you believe with Modim Mixas? Only when you're not up against a star. You could swear about half and pay half. But here, right, Tosfos says, why you believed? It must be Tosfos thinks that the star is strong. How could the star be strong? There are Adam that say he paid. It must be his Hodah beats the Adam. Hodah's Baldin is so strong that it could overpower Adam in that sense. So that is all just from the first four words of Tosfos. That is number one. But if you look in the Chidushei Haran, well, you got to see it. Chidushei Haran has the opposite question. The opposite question. V'im Tomar. Since there are Adim that he already paid everything, you hear me when I bang on my desk? The same feeling as if, okay, good. It's for emphasis, right? So, lama tzarech lishava. He out the shvuah. There are Adim. There are Adim that say he paid. He says, I owe. There are Adim. How could you say that the star exists? There are Adim that say he paid. So again, in contrast to Tosfos, Tosfos seems to say in the question, the star is still strong, and that's why Tosfos says, why should he be believed even with a shvuah? While the Ran says, why does he even need a shvuah? Why does he even need a shvuah? The star is strong. The star is strong? No, the star is wiped down. There are Adam that say he paid. According to the Ran, the Adam say that, the star has no more teeth. You might say it like this, the Ran. Even if Hodah's Baldin is something personal, but objectively we have live Adam that say the star is paid up. Besson can't ignore that. We'll see that in the language of the Ran soon. And therefore the star is knocked out. If I would ask you, did we do this earlier in the year? Did we discuss Hodah's Baldin this year? Hodah's Baldin K'mei Adim Dami? Was that this year or last year? I don't remember. I think it was this year. Yes, Natano. Did we discuss that this year or last year? Yehuda, what do you remember? Because if you're Shana Aleph, then you'll know if it was this year or last year. I don't remember. It was this year. Okay, so could somebody plug in the two different ways of understanding Hodas Baldin to this machlokas between Tosfos and the Ran? Again, Tosfos and the Ran, who say, right, whether a Hodas Baldin should be able to overpower even Eidim or not. Where do you say, no, Eidim or Eidim? Yeah, Amrem.
If we do
First
Hodas,
remind me of the two ways of understanding Hodas Baldin.
His Ne'emanus versus his Chayvus, whether we actually believe him about something that he's saying that he previously owed money, so it's a chov that he had before and he's just been megala, or if he's actually don't believe that this was something before, but he's just making himself chayiv now. So if it's ne'emanus that we actually believe him that this is something that was true and that he did owe money before, then he would override the eidim, like what Tosos said, and he would be believed about himself at least to say the eidim are lying and really I do owe this money from the shtar. But if we view the Hodas Baldin as his chayvus, this is just a new chov he's creating, then in regards to the shtar, then we would believe the eidim to say that he paid, like what the Ran said. And if he wants to be mechayiv himself otherwise, then that's his prerogative, but that's not going to make him chayiv a shvua.
Beautiful. So I'm not 100% sure, but I would definitely think, I think in your direction. I think that's the way it sounds. Meaning if it's ne'emanus, so then it's ne'emanus and ne'emanus, that power. If it's just to his chayvus, then he's being mischayiv himself to whatever he wants, but it doesn't affect the eidim. And the eidim knock out the shtar, and he has a new chayvus here that he's doing. But either way, that's a fascinating. Again, this Gemara that we're in the middle of is going to touch on three different major topics in Shas, and this is already one of them: Hodas Baldin and how it affects eidim. If you look in the Ritva, again, keep all the Rishonim open because we didn't get to their answers yet. Right? If you look in the Ritva has both questions. The Ritva has it as a mimanashach. But after seeing the Tosfos and the Ran, because Tosfos and the Ran only have one of the questions each, and the Ritva has both. Ritva says right here, I don't understand, says the Ritva. If these eidim that say he paid everything are considered contradicted, so if the eidim are thrown out, then there's a shtar against this guy. Then how could he be pater with a shvua? Tosas. And if the eidim are not called muchash, upsulim and if the eidim are not considered contradicted, so then why does he even need to swear? Eidim said he paid everything. Ran. So the Ritva has both formulations. Again, the Ran was after the Ritva, but in terms of order, Tosfos and the Ran have one opposite questions, and the Ritva has both. And just when we thought that there weren't any more possibilities, there's one more possibility. Well, not only, why should the Lova have to swear? Why is the Lova believed? We have the final possibility, and that is of the Yad Ramah. Yad Ramah. Every Yad Ramah you have to do now is, we only have a Yad Ramah on Bava Basra and Sanhedrin. So if you're not going to do any of those Masechtas anytime soon, so we have to just use the Yad Ramahs now that we can. Says the Yad Ramah right here. Anybody see it? What's the Yad Ramah's question? Did we mention it on Thursday? Right, another question. Yaakov, yeah.
The Yad Ramah asks, why does the Lova have to take the Shvez versus the Malbim?
Oh, the Malbim should swear. The Malva should swear. That's his question. Not only, he's going even farther. Not only does he say the Lova shouldn't have to swear, but the Malva should have to swear. Amai Nishba, the Lova has Eidim on his side, and he says, and if you want to say, well, he has Eidim, but according to his words, they're liars. You want to say that he knocked them out? Because regarding Malve, yes, it's she had to swear. You want to say that the Love knocked him out, but the Malve should have to swear. Right? Which is a totally different answer. Totally different answer. Oh, Yehuda said yes. The Rabbi Gershom said that. I was looking for somebody. He says that? Oh, yes. Thank you, Yehuda. I have it underlined, which means like in a previous lifetime, I did that. Okay, that's incriminating evidence. For the one I learned this some other previous time. The Rabbeinu Gershom said that's exactly when the Gemara says Nishba. The Gemara says he swears. Who's the he? So the Rashbam and all the Rishonim assume the Love. The Rabbeinu Gershom says the Malva swears. Exactly the Adarma's question. Rabbeinu Gershom says that's true. Rabbeinu Gershom is a man of little words. Maybe he wasn't, but that's all we have. But Rabbeinu Gershom says on this daf, Nishba Malva. Beautiful. That's all he says. But what's the svara? The svara is because, okay, there's an argument between the Eidim and the Love, but if the Malva wants to get anything, you know, there are Eidim against him. There are Eidim that he was paid already. So he has to be Nishba Benota. Nishba Benota. Beautiful. It's interesting, keep in mind, I'll just throw in one more, because we'll see someone who totally switches in the answer. The Rimi Gash, I don't know if I put the Rimi Gash on the Marmakomos. The Rimi Gash's question is like the Yad Ramah. Like the Yad Ramah. Why doesn't the Malva have to swear? We'll have to see what his answer is. I'm just pointing that out. It says Pirish Nishba Halove Shvuas Hatorah Shaparo Mechsa. Right? He says the Love swears. And then he says, well, what do you mean? Shouldn't the Malva have to swear? And he's going to answer. When do we say that the Malva swears, ... We'll have to see soon. But keep in mind that the Rimi Gash has his question like the Yad Ramah. Good. This is all questions, different questions of the Rishonim, and what the assumptions of those questions are. Again, as I said, I'm just going to emphasize it again. Almost every sugya, the Rishonim ask the same question, and they give different answers. This sugya is pretty unique in that they're asking opposite questions. You have to just read them slowly to catch it, that they're not all asking the same question. Most of the time, Tosas asks a kasha, and the Ramban, they just expand on the question. But here, sometimes you have opposite questions. Good. So let's go through some of the answers. First, Tosfos. Tosfos' answers. So Tosfos again. Tosfos says, was that the Lova shouldn't be believed at all. Even with the Shvur, the Lova shouldn't be believed. What is Tosfos' answer? What is Tosfos' answer? No. The Lova shouldn't be believed? The star is knocked out. What are you talking about? Mishum de chashiva kamil ba'al peh. The star is knocked out. What was our assumption of Tosfos? Hodas Baldin knocks out the Eidim. Says Tosfos, not so fast. For his personal obligation, fine. But the star is knocked out, says Tosfos. It's considered a mil ve'al peh. Shahare Eidim e'idin, shashtar parua. The Eidim say that the star is paid up. Meaning maybe Tosfos in the Maskana now changes. Hodas Baldin can't beat Eidim. In the Havamina, I like the formulation of his chayvas ne'emanis, like Avram said. But now Tosfos is answering, no. If Eidim say that this star was paid, because he says it doesn't possible the Eidim. The afagab the dvaredim sulam shar machisha eno miskayim ela ayidei hodaso. Kamar still. He says, no, the star is something, but I paid half. So you can't say that it's still powerful as a star, and therefore it is going to be considered a milveh al peh. Just 1 second. Good. So Tosfos says it is considered a milveh bal peh because the Eidim actually knocked out the star. But then Tosfos adds something important. Below dummy. What's getting into? There's something called last year. This I remember. This was a Maseches Gittin called Kiyum Shtaros. Kiyum Shtaros. What's Kiyum Shtaros? It's a rabbin, right? Even though it's kosher, it looks kosher. There are 2 Eidim. The Rabbanan said you need to do Kiyum Shtaros. You have to verify the star in one of 3 ways. Either get the Eidim to say this is our signatures, get somebody else to say these are the Eidim signatures, or get another star that was already verified and compare it. Okay, one of the ways, Kiyum Shtaros. Midra Rabbanan, you need Kiyum Shtaros in order to use a star. What if the Lova says, yeah, that's a good star? So do you have to do Kiyum if the Lova himself says it's a good star? So it says Tosfos. Don't compare our case. Our case, the star is knocked out. It's considered a milveh bal peh. Don't compare our case to the case of Modeh b'shtar kasto. If you admit that the star was written, the ain star you don't have to be mekayim because the Lova already said it's enough. The einonem lomar parati. And right when the Lova says it's a true star, he can no longer say I paid, even though it's only because of the Lova. But 1 second. So why in our case, where he says it's a good star and I still don't have, is it considered a milveh al peh? And there is it a milveh b'shtar, and you could collect from a chasam mishubadim. Afagav de'enu mekuyim ela al piv. Ask Tosfos, what's the difference between our case and that case? Our case, Eidim say the star is a piece of garbage. And he says, no, it's still good, I owe half. He takes the star, the halacha is it's not. But there's nothing wrong with the star. The Eidim achasumin ala star can be nechra edusan bevested. Right? A star is a star. El rabbanan hu datzrichot kiyum. The Rabbanan, Rabbanan required you to do Kiyum. But once it was Muklayim, it's a star coming, there's nothing wrong with it. Our case, there are 2 Eidim. That's it, the star was paid up already. That's not un-Mekuyim star. Our star has a big problem with it, says Tosfos. And therefore, even though it's saved because of his Hodah, but still, it's not like a star that's un-Mekuyim. If a star is not mekuyim, it's not like we know there's something wrong with it. It's just that we have a high standard to verify it. But in our case, Tosfos says the star is tainted. The star is weak. That's Tosfos' shita. Tosfos says, really, again, Tosfos' question was, the Lova shouldn't be believed? What's Tosfos' answer? Why not? The star is knocked out. The star is knocked out. You're right, he helps out the star, but that's his own personal, goodness. If you look at Rabbi Chanan here in the Kovet Shiurim, he just adds 1 line. You know what this is like? He says, Pesha aso pesha hitir. That's his mashal. Pesha aso pesha hitir, which, what does that mean? It means if a woman comes to town and says, hey, I'm divorced. You could go out with me. So we believe her because we didn't even know she was married. She volunteered information that we didn't need. So if she did, it must be that it's true. So Rabbi Chanan compares that to our case. Really, Eidim say that he paid everything. He's saying that he paid only half. Okay, so we'll believe him. We'll believe. You're right, he came before the Eidim. That's a question. But either way, that is the Tosfos a sheep. Okay, but now we get to the Ritva and the Ran. The Ritva and the Ran have a fascinating formulation. Fascinating formulation. You can learn all of Baba Kama. I'll take the question now. This sounds like a Baba Kama topic, but it's here, right here in Baba Basra. Yes, Yaakov. I wish I heard you. You have to unmute.
That's a good point. If Elchanan says that the entire reason why what Tus is saying is Pesha Hitter, right? He's saying that, then why do you need a shvuah? A woman's believed she doesn't need to take a shvuah.
Good question. So I don't think he's saying exactly that it's Pesha Asar. He's saying a similar idea. Similar idea. Again, our case is worse. You can think of it because he said it before the Eidim. Right? It wasn't that the Eidim said it first, and then he says, oh, no, I did pay only half. He said it before the Eidim came. So it's not exactly Pesha Asar. Not exactly Pesha Asar, because he didn't know the Eidim were going to come. So, but he gives that mashal. What about Migus Adob? You can look at the Rabbi Chanan. He discusses whether you can prove from here that Pesha Asar works through Migo or not, because that's a machlokas Rashi and Tosfos there in Subis, and he tries to figure out whether this could be l'shitaso there. Okay, so says the Ran. I'll read it from the Ran. Says the Ran because this is what the Achronim had. Says the Ran to answer his question. What was the Ran's formulation of the question? Why should he even have to swear? There are Eidim that say that he paid everything. So he says he only paid half? Okay. What does he have to swear for? Says the Ran. Yeish Lomar. This is a perfect example of a Rishon. My Rabbi Rosner loves these types of formulations. A created middle status formulation. Right? When you have a problem and you have two extremes, you know what you do? You come up with something in the middle. Right? It's not really Geneva. It's not really She'ela. It's something in the middle. Whenever you're in the so this is a perfect example. As the Ran is going to say. He's arguing with the Eidim. Is he contradicting the Eidim? Yeah, a little bit. They're trying to come up with a middle, what's called mixas hachasha. Where does that come from? What does that mean? Did he contradict the Eidim? Did he not contradict the Eidim? Yeah, a little bit. What does that mean, a little bit? They're coming up with a new halachic category, somewhere in the middle, to answer the problem. Because again, he's believed, but he needs a shvuah. The Ran says, what do you need a shvuah for? So here's the Ran. The Yeish Lomar. The shiny hacha. Shu paslam. What was the Ran's question? What does he need to swear? Why does he need to swear? No, but he pasul the Eidim. Shemachish devrehem. The Omer shelo par el mechza. He says, I only paid half. Ulegabe atzmo neman. From his point of view, the Eidim are lying. From his point of view, he owes. Umihu lav lameimra to paslinu lagamre. But he didn't totally passel them. Because if he totally passeled them, as Tosfos asked, if he totally passeled them, then he wouldn't even be believed with a shvuah. So he can star with. There's a star. Ela lav hachasha hi legamre. It's not a total hachasha. It's a little hachasha. Right? Which we would have said, what does that mean? Is he contradicting them or is he not contradicting them? Says the Ran, partially. De efshar shueno zachor ela min hamixas. Ve'edim zachor yoser. Maybe he only remembers paying half, and the Eidim remember everything. The kivan to hachasha lav hachashahi. Since it's not a total hachasha, ein somchin lo aledusam legamre v'lo alashtar legamre. Because it's not a complete hachasha, it's somewhere in the middle. You don't rely on their edus totally to say he doesn't even need to swear. You don't rely on the shtar totally, that he won't be believed with a shvuah. Ella Edusan mahanyol of tule star belachud. Their edus knock out the star. Havitfiaso shel malve kitfia shel alpeh. Shinala edim. The edim are enough to knock out the star, but the tfia of the malve is like tfia alpeh, as if there are no edim. Shekol nitva mode mixas nishpa. That's the Ran. This is the same thing. This is the mixas hachasha. The edim do something, but not everything. He contradicts, but not totally contradicts. But this is the formulation of the Ritva and the Ran that have this middle type of formulation, mixas achasha. Mixas achasha. Okay. Let me ask you the next question. And this is the question, I don't know if you got to see it yet, of the Shach. Would the same halacha apply if there was no star? If there was no star. Meaning what? What if Reuven comes and says, Shimon, you owe me $100. Shimon says, I only owe you 50. Right? If you stop there, that's what it makes us. But then Adam come and say, no, he paid everything. Would he still have to swear with the shvua? In that case? If there was no star. If there was no star, there's even less against him. Right? At least here, in our case, there's a star against him. He has to swear with a shvua. What if there was no star? But he says, I paid half. And the Adam say, I paid whole. What would you say in that case? Says the Shach. Says the Shach, he would not have to make a shvua in that case. Says the Shach in Siman Pei Beis, in that case, he would not have to make a shvua. Why? Why not? B'to'ano balpeh. This is the Shach in Siman Pei Beis, Sif Lamed Zayin, Sif Kada Lamed Zayin. There for sure he wouldn't have to make a shvua. Why? By the star, listen to his formulation. Because he quotes another Shas topic, which you can feel free to analyze. When there's a star there, and the Eidim say that it's already fully paid, only in that case, the Eidim are weakened a little bit. That's why he has to take a shvua. But if there would not be a star at all, then the Eidim wouldn't be weakened at all, and therefore he wouldn't have to take a shvua. I'll say it again, I didn't say the punchline yet of why. But it says the Shach, the only reason he has to take a shvua here when he says I paid half and they didn't say I paid whole is only because not only did he say that I only paid half, but the Eidim are weakened because there's a star that says that he owes, and the Eidim say that he paid. But because there's a star against them, the Eidim's kind of is weakened. But if there wouldn't be a star in the first place, then the Eidim would be strong and support him, and he wouldn't have to take a shvua. Why are the Eidim weakened by the star? I'll read you the lashon. Aval b'shtar kivan diika shtara v'hu atzmo machish mivixas ha'edim harai ku'ilu ein kan shtar v'lo Eidim v'nishpa. Here's the line, the last line of the Shach. The high time of Loshayach Rak Bishtar, Kiva Diika Nami Taina, Dishtarcha Biyadi My Boy. Lahachish Edim. Avo Bal Pep Shita, the Lochjo Edim Klau, Kuli Alma. There is a halachic topic, Shas topic called Shtarcha Biyadi My Boy. That's in Baba Kama. You have it in Baba Basra yet? Somewhere in Baba Basra? Is it here somewhere? Daf Ayin. Why do I have that in my head? Maybe it's an Ayin, Daf Ayin in a different Masechta. No, it's here. Baba Basra. Yeah, Daf Ayin. Shtarcha biyadi my boy. Ayin am an Aleph. So, what does that mean? That's a concept that if I paid you, then I would take the star and rip it up. If you still have the star, I'm not believed to have paid you. Shtarcha biyadi, the Malva could say, your star in my hand, what is it doing here? Shtarcha biyadi, my boy. That is a din. I don't want to say anything more than that. That's a din, that we believe the person holding the star, because if you really said parati, if you really paid, then why am I still holding your star? That's shtarcha biyadi, my boy. Says the Shach, in our case, that principle weakens the Eidim. And that's why he has to take a shvuah here. Because not only does he admit that he only paid half, and others they don't pay half, but the star weakens the Eidim. But if there wouldn't be a star, then the Eidim are strong. Then of course he doesn't have to make a shvuah. He just pays half without a shvuah. That's the Shach. And the Ksos argues. The Ksos there in Siman Pei Beis said, I'm sorry, Shach, but I disagree. Shtarcha biyadi, my boy, does nothing to Eidim. Shtarcha biyadi, my boy, affects a lova. If a lova says I paid, then the Malva could say, so why do I still have the star? But Eidim are birur. Shtarcha biyadi has no effect. And therefore, the Ksos argues on the Shach. Even without the star, he would have to swear. He would have to swear even if there was no star. I'll read the Lashon. Va'od be'ikr divrei hashach, the chazaka de shtara, mahani l'rui sadi, the din of the shach, that the chazaka of the star ruins the Eidim. Eichi tochein the chazaka yachish Eidim. How is it possible? It's an important Lashon here. How is it possible that the chazaka could weaken Eidim? Listen to this line. V'afilu alafim chazakos. Give me thousands of chazakos. You read this? La'ayin hema k'neged shnei Eidim. 1,000 chazakas don't beat 2 Eidim. Says the Ksos. That's a great line. Afilu alafim chazakos la'ayin hema neged shnei Eidim. You want to say the Eidim are weaker because the Baal Din said he owes? So even without a star. Below star nami, levi achasha. The chazaka does nothing against the Eidim. And therefore, according to that svar, no, even without the star, the Eidim would be strong. So that's the machlokas between the Shach and the Ksos.
Rabbi, could you please repeat what conclusion you get from that?
The Ksos says that even if there wouldn't be a star in our case, the Lova would have to swear on the other half. All right, the Shach argues. The Shach says the only reason that he has to swear on the other half, in the same case where he says, I paid half, and the Eidim say he paid whole. The Shach says if there wouldn't be a star, then he would have to be able to pay half without swearing on the other half. Because the Eidim are not weakened then if there was no star. And the Ksos says, I don't know what you're talking about. The shtarcha biyadi, my boy, that chazaka does not affect Eidim. And therefore, if the Gemara says that you paying this, you have to swear in this case, you have to swear in that case too. What exactly is the nekudas hamachlokas between the Shach and the Ksos? So I gave you, I don't think you saw it yet, so I don't want to talk about it yet. I want to give you one day to see it. The Grach Halashas. I gave it to you, I put it in the group. The Reb Chaim on, it's called Reb Chaim stencils. That's the yeshivish way to say it, in the stencils. What is the stencils? Because it used to be in the olden days when I was growing up, right, in the caveman era, that when you want to make a copy of something, you had to it's like a stencil. You'll see the print is like a not normal computer font. It's like that's what they call it, the stencils. And that print that the Reb Chaim Halashas is. It's like it's not the Grach Rambam, which was put out in Reb Chaim's lifetime. Grach Halashas was put out afterwards, just a compilation of different parts. Anyway, so look at that Grach Halashas. 2 understandings of Shtarcha biyadi, my boy. Right? How do you understand that principle? If you're holding the shtar, then I'm not believed to say lo parati, to say parati. What is that chazak? How do you understand that chazak? That's going to be the nakuda between the ksos and the shach. There is another answer of the Yad Ramah. Let's just get this Yad Ramah on the table, and then tomorrow shir is at 4. I'm just Monday shir is at 4, and then after we start shir, we'll just discuss this Reb Chaim, and then we're gonna do Chazara. Okay, the next for a week we're gonna have Chazara shirim. Please put in the time to review. Whether you're gonna take the test or not take the test, please solidify the learning with review. Again, Eli, are all the shirim online? If you want to listen to the shirim again,
Yeah.
right. So they're all on what, YouTube or whatever. So wherever
On the
they
link
are,
for our chat.
it's on the link. So feel free if you want to review it, just to try. You can, and again, if you want to just pick certain sugyas, just do those sugyas. If you don't think you're going to be able to get through all 15, just pick 2 or 3 of them and just do those well, right? It's whatever works. Just use the time properly. But anyway, just the Yad Ramah. The Yad Ramah has another answer. Remember what his question was? Why doesn't the Malva swear? Why doesn't the Malva swear? So you saw the Yad Ramah. Bezdin will never institute a shvua that's for sure sheker. You're right, conceptually, maybe we should make the Malva swear, but here there are Aiden that say that he wasn't paid. How can we allow the Malva to swear that he wasn't paid? The Aiden say that he was paid. Bezdin will not allow a shvua like that to take place. He says, where's the lashon? Tekivon. Bim Kain, Hechi Mishabi Bezdin Shvua, the Ikasadi Kshere, the Beshikra Kamishtava. Right, there are Adim, nobody says these Adim are lying. So he's lying. So Bezdin want influence. That comes up in Matzia sometimes, or in Mesechah Shvuas also, that we wouldn't allow people to take, not all Tanam agree to that. But if you remember, there are some cases in Shvuas that will allow, if certain cases where somebody says that I paid and I gave workers I paid workers to go get the fruit, the Balavayas will say, I didn't get paid. The workers will say, I didn't get paid. They can both swear and take from the Balavayas. There are some cases that we know somebody's lying and we will allow them to swear, but that's the Yad Ramah's Yisod here. Okay? So let's stop here. Any questions?